make it there and can make it back.
Salutations and shit, folks. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite travel podcast, Travel and Shit, where I, your host, D. Carey, have experiential conversation about the nuanced ways that travel intersects with regular life. And I love to remind you, there is absolutely a possibility that you have not seen this face. And so I remind you, the podcast is also on the YouTubes. And if you are watching and joining us on the YouTubes, you can see that I've got another face to join this face of mine, my handsome guest with the spiffy hat. I love the hat. Thank you so much for joining me, Vaughn. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Dee, thanks so much for having me. Vaughn Davis, Managing Director of Dream Hollywood, also the CEO of Relevant Hospitality. It's an honor to be on the show.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you.
Let's have some,
now let
let's
me
have some fun.
Oh, please.
Let's show everyone why hotels are super fun, man. Best job ever.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When you give your title, what exactly does that encompass? So as someone that just goes to a hotel and knows that, oh, this is the front desk staff, this is housekeeping, this is the bellhop, or I don't even know if they still use that terminology anymore. What exactly is your role and what does that encompass? Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no problem. Managing Director oversees the entire operations of the hotel, right? So from engineering, sales and marketing, revenue, front office, people and culture, to food and beverage, to you name it. Everything that happens under the roof, they oversee. And we call them bell people now.
Okay, not a hop.
Or a bell person. When I started, it was all bell men.
Right. Okay. Reasonable.
There were some women in that role at certain hotels, right? It's time to update the title and job classification. Let's make it a little bit more inclusive.
How did you start when you started in hospitality? What was your start like?
Yeah. So I started as a bellman manager of training at the Gansevoort Park Avenue. It was 28 Park Avenue, man. It was still is a pretty cool hotel. It's no longer flying the Gansevoort flag, but it was one of the most iconic properties launched in Park Avenue. So I was trained by some of the best in the industry, and I got to experience firsthand interacting with tier one clientele and A-listers that would stay at that property. I think our average daily rate at the time was anywhere between $600 and $5,000 per night. So around $600 to $5,000 per night, depending on the room category you're staying in.
That's interesting. But when you said that, I immediately thought of two of my favorite, I won't say like categorically like where they would fall, but like I remember, I don't know if you've ever watched it. I want to say it was on CBS. It had Vanessa Williams in it, like 666 Park, or it was like 666 something. That show where they lived in a hotel, it was like a mixed property. I want to say that there were long-term guests as well as short-term guests. Absolutely love that show. And I think that it got, it should have gotten a lot more than it did. And I am a huge J-Lo as an actress fan. I always have to caveat it as such for my own personal tastes.
Just an actress?
Love her as an actress. Love her as a dancer. She makes bops. She makes hits.
J-Lo's an icon, man.
I mean, yes. Lots of famous people are. I love her as an actress, and I will watch anything she is in. And Made in Manhattan happens to be, I'd say, one of the J-Lo movies I've absolutely seen the most times in my life. And I think that it does a beautiful job. I don't remember what the character's name is, but the gentleman that is head, I think he's head of housekeeping or he's head of something, but he does a really great job of really expressing what it is to be of service and how because you are of service does not necessarily make you a servant. And I also think that there are so many negative connotations to being a servant because it's one of those loaded terms, right? Where it is often used in a very negative or derogatory fashion, but it also has a lot of positive to it. Um, as someone who has started as a bell person and made their way to a CEO, what is your experience of service and how do you see that across, the different, what's the word I'm looking for? Job roles and job titles throughout hospitality.
Yeah, so we can start with the macro and then move on into the micro. We are big fans of human psychology and neuroscience, so we always do a deep dive into understanding the human brain and how we can
Hmm.
best build experiences based on that understanding. And there's one theory. It's called peak end theory. It's also called the peak end rule. It became a rule at some point. I still refer to it as a theory. I still need a little bit more peer-reviewed
Okay.
studies and journals to accept it into my catalog of laws. But it is one that speaks to the remembering the best and worst of the experience. So
Hmm.
we utilize that with an understanding that people only recognize two things: the best or the worst of the experience, whichever one outranks or outweighs the other in the impact on the guest experience. So we always focus on ways to remove too many redundancies in the guest
Mm.
journey, which the guest journey is, the pre-arrival process, arrival, check-in, mid-stay, check-out, post-stay. We've actually broadened that journey's horizon quite a bit that I won't speak to here because that's a bit proprietary and internal. And it also sets us apart from a lot of our competitors. But yeah, we deploy that rule. We deploy some of Nietzsche's and Freud's understanding of human psychology and how to actually deliver on the expectations of the guest and the experience of the guest. So that's where we start. We start with that understanding, then we build the standard operating procedures to help us reach those goals. We also partnered with companies like Forbes Travel Guide. The chief technology officer is a good friend, and he's phenomenal at putting together this incredible Rolodex of information on the guest experience. Of course, it's always going to be information that doesn't directly correlate to the person,
Right.
but more so the group. And it was great to partner with them to get an understanding of what their expectations are in the industry. Obviously, they're the ones that give the 5-star ratings or the Forbes preferred ratings, which would then allow you to be a little bit more attractive to a different tier of clientele. And yeah, so we took all that, we put it all together, and then we started ideating on standard operating procedures and the way the guest journey should look and the way the guest experience should feel. That also ties into the five senses of the guest experience as well. So even
Hmm.
down to the music is curated here on property with a beats per minute focus. We're working on getting closer to fully understanding how we can implement sound science into our sound engineering here on property as well. So soon we'll start jumping into different frequencies that we will be able to project based on the music to allow you to feel, a certain way that you want to feel. When you're checking into a hotel, you want to feel excited. You want to feel like you're about to go on an adventure, have some fun, get a peaceful night's rest. Music can help curate that. Obviously, scent and smell, that's a big part of the five
Hmm.
senses of the guest experience. When you smell the dream scent when you walk into the property, we're hopeful that your memory recall with some other notes of a scent elsewhere across the world will bring you back to the nostalgia of the experience of staying at a dream property. Of course, sight, touch, those are all very important as well. So as you enter into the property, there is a level of intelligent design that was deployed by Rockwell interior designers in their group, and they did a phenomenal job. You can feel the front desk. It takes you right into the energy and the experience we want you to feel when you get to the guest room and you walk on the carpet. It's like stepping into the Pacific Ocean. And then the headboard in the rooms would be reminiscent of the sand on the beach. And then we have these really cool tapestries on the wall. So everything was intelligently designed, and having the guest experience as the main focal point of why we're doing it ties back into what I just said about the macro, right? Human
Right.
psychology and neuroscience. So that's the basis in which we start. So that's the first principles foundation in which we
Hmm.
start. And then we go out and it's about talent acquisition to make sure that you are hiring the right people that align with your vision, your goals, your culture, in your hotel and the experience you wish to provide to your hotel guests. And for us, we took a deep dive into the hiring processes historically in hotels, and one of the things that I found was that we never hired from the heart.
Hmm.
So it was a matter of having a conversation with the person
Well,
that
whose
you were,
heart?
their heart, not my heart, their heart.
Okay.
And that's
Would that
also
be the heart
proprietary.
of the
So,
property? But I mean, like, would that be
yeah.
the heart of the property and
Mhm.
of the environment that you're trying to cultivate, or based on the particular candidate's heart and whether or not they are a good fit, you would feel for? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of the things that you would assume that a hiring manager would do. It's just like, oh, are you a good fit for this? But is it that you mean like a good fit for the culture or just a good fit for the role?
Good fit for the culture. Definitely the culture. Culture is everything. Culture is the
Hmm.
start of where everything will emanate from. So I can't get too deep into the proprietary practices
Of
that we
course.
have in place for people in culture,
Hmm.
but we do hire from the heart, and obviously, your experience is very important. We do review the resumes. We do go through that traditional process of vetting candidates before we have a discussion. But the big thing for us is IQ, EQ, aptitude, culture, heart, and in no particular order in the way I mentioned it. But we look at all of that when we make a decision as to who we're going to hire to allow them to come into our hotel to provide an experience to our guests. So it's very important. I think it's one of the biggest steps in actualizing your vision for your property and the service culture for your property, or getting the right people in the building that can deliver on that promise that we make to our guests, which we take very seriously, which is a peaceful night's rest and exciting experience and phenomenal food and beverage and well-appointed rooms, etc. Right? But the
Hmm.
best service has to trump it all because we are in the service industry. That is how this industry was built. It's the hospitality industry. And for us, we take it very seriously as to who we allow to deliver that experience that we've created, built, and cultivated over time.
I like that. I don't know that the average traveler necessarily thinks about all of the nuance and the details that go into a larger establishment. And I can say that that is one distinguishing factor. You would assume, can't always be the case, but a distinguishing factor between, say, an Airbnb and a hotel property is that there is that level of vetting. There's that level. You would assume not all properties are going to do this, obviously, but now in terms of that, what property are you at again, and what category would you say you're in, so that
Yeah,
everyone has
we're
an idea of what we're talking about here?
yeah, sure thing. We're Dream Hollywood. We are located in the heart of Hollywood, right on Selma and Cahuenga. So 6417 Selma to be exact. And we are a luxury boutique lifestyle hotel. That is who we are. That's our brand ethos, and that's the promise that we make to our guests. When they come here, they're going to get a unique luxury experience, but with fun. We love
Okay.
to ensure our guests have fun, and the reason
What does
being
fun look
is,
like there? Oh, go ahead. Finish your
I think,
answer.
well, yeah, fun. I mean, I can be able to bridge the two, right? So
Okay.
fun is a dynamic thought, right? And a dynamic idea. It's never going to be about what's fun for one group of people. Everyone's definition of fun will be different. So we try to cater to different demographics and our different tiers of guests and what their expectations are and why they're here. For example, if you're here for a honeymoon, that's going to be a different
Hmm.
example of fun. We might say, hey, let's set up your dinner at Mother Wolf. This is going to be a tier one experience from a dining standpoint. And you're going to have the best wine. You compare the wine with the food. And then we would be able to decide if the guests would much rather go to a show at the Pantages or the Hollywood Bowl, or if they're more into the Griffith Observatory, or if they want to go to the beach. We can set all of these experiences up, and it's like an excursion, right? If you
Hmm.
go to a cruise ship or you go to one of those remote islands, they always have excursions set up. So we decided to take that concept of excursions and then build it into our service culture for the hotel guest experience to then be able to provide an experience not only just in the building, but for the entire community as a whole. And then
Okay.
what we do is we build relationships with our guests to be able to then extend the quality of experiences that we've provided in the past elsewhere. So
Hmm.
they may be in Florence, Italy, for all we know. We might get an email or it might be a text message. What's the best place to go to Florence, Italy that feels like Beauty and Essex, right? And we will respond. So it's the life cycle of a guest. We don't want to look at it as just the length of stay. We want to look at it as, you are our family for the rest of your life or however long you want to be considered our family. And that's why we have such an aggressive digital strategy where we extend the hotel guest experience to the digital realm. So if you go
Hmm.
on Instagram, you go stories, we're going to be launching a few other social media outlets soon. Don't want to give that away. But the whole plan and the whole vision is that after you check out, your experience doesn't end. Your experience should continue every single day. You look at your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, or you look at your X. How do you call that? Do you say tweets now? I'm like,
Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter.
I can't with you.
I don't recognize anything else. It's Twitter. Whatever.
It's like
That
what do
man
you
could
say
call it
now?
what he wants.
I
Twitter.
just I just I just X'd. What? No, you can't say that. You
Right. It's
mean you
stupid.
just
It is
tweeted?
stupid. It's Twitter. You tweeted. I don't know if you twoked. You tweeted or you tweet. You Twitter. It's Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter.
Did you just say twoked?
Yeah. I said, I don't know if it's a twoked, but, or you tweeted
Um,
or you, I don't like, you tweeted or you will tweet. Like, what are all the tenses? You were on Twitter, but
yes,
it
but
ain't
you
going to
know
be
what?
X.
Let's just look. Webster's makes updates quite often to
I
the
don't think I'll live
dictionary.
to see that update. I
Let's
can't see
let's
it happening.
let's get twoked in there. Twoked.
I appreciate that because I, in this household, am known for fucking up some words.
It's
One
all
of
good.
my
Stuff
personal
happens.
favorites, and let's make this fetch. Let's
Talk
absolutely
to me.
make fetch happen. Shit, it just flew out. I am in concharge. You're in control and in charge. In
I like
concharge.
it.
It's a thing in the home here. I
I
say it all the
like it.
freaking time. I'm in concharge. And people following, use it in your
I'm
worlds. Use it
I'm in
in the
there.
places that you are there.
Look,
And it's going to be a thing. I'd like
my
to think
my
so.
my tribe of humans are probably going to watch this at some point. Make sure you guys
Concharge.
know where that word came from because it's happening. It's happening in the
Thank
home.
you.
Putting it
Make
up on the
fetch
whiteboard in
happen.
the kitchen.
I'm going to put it up
I
here
love
now.
it. I love it.
So
It's
it sounds
hilarious.
like you guys are very, very big on creating relationships. It's not just a check in,
Yeah.
check out, peace out. Um, you've got your receipt. We don't need to hear from you anymore. And I
Right.
think that kind of ties into one of the things that I wanted to ask you. This seems as if it would make it very easy to develop a sense of brand loyalty. That's one of the things that I personally, and I preface this with saying everyone's experience is going to be different. Everyone's personality is different. And that's part of why I asked you about, well, what's y'all idea of fun for a hotel? Because I know that if I go to a hotel with my parents, between my mom and dad and myself,
Right. Very
completely
different.
different ideas of fun. My mom and I
Right.
can have a great time together. My dad
Right.
and I, as much of a daddy's girl as I am, his idea of fun and my idea of fun, it only works when he just does what I want to do. Let's just leave it at that. So, in
Right.
terms of my personal decision making, I tend to be what is most convenient or what is going to benefit me the most in this particular experience or in this particular interaction. I'm staying in this area and this hotel happens to be, the most easily accessible to my transportation means for that current stay. That being the case, I feel as though I am in a shift in this maturing age, if you will. I will absolutely pay for the convenience of certain things. And
Yeah.
some of the convenience is knowing that you are building and establishing relationships. And so I've found that while I have generally been a just, all right, well, where's it at? Let's go there. We're going to be in this area. I've made those decisions without as much care to establish those types of
Mhm.
long-standing kind of relationships. And so now that I'm there where I see that it has value, how would you suggest, and I'd say from the two different realms, right? Like from your, we didn't get into like what your personal travel experiences are or anything like that, but we know that you're a professional, right? So there's a professional kind of mindset that one, as a non-professional, I would expect that there may be a difference, right? So like me, I'm not a professional. It's not what I do for work. So I'm gonna just go with what works for me in that moment. But I could see how if I had professional experience in a certain thing, I could see where while it may logically make sense to do one thing, it's actually a better long-term choice to go a different way. So that's a long way to ask you, what would you say key points, key factors, or deciding factors in choosing a brand or a like a chain or a service provider to stick with?
Mhm.
Why would someone, other than like points, but like what are points when the company can change what the points means? Like if I'm accumulating 100,000 miles with Delta and then all of a sudden Delta says, hey, actually, sorry, girl, you've done so well, but we're changing it and we're starting fresh. We're not even using points anymore. When things like that can happen, it, for me, and the way I, again, my personal preferences, the way I see things, I don't necessarily always want to go that direction. So for someone that wants to make that shift, what things would you suggest someone keep in mind to decide what the best chain or brand to kind of want to develop a relationship would be?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing they need to identify is what type of experience they're looking to have, right? So,
Mhm.
what are you looking for? Are you looking for 24-hour in-room dining? Are you looking for a valet, a doorman, or a door person, excuse me, a bell person, a front desk agent, and then separately a concierge? Are you looking to dine at a fine dining restaurant? Are you looking for 24/7 in-room dining? Um, it just depends on what you're looking for. When you identify what you're looking for, then you can
Mhm.
identify a brand that aligns with your interests, what your expectations will be. Like, for example, myself, I generally stay at luxury hotels, right? So the best of the best is usually where I would
Mhm.
decide to stay. And the reason being is that I feel very comfortable in this luxury boutique sector. And I feel like I understand all the hotels that live in this little ecosystem. But what I
Mhm.
want to feel and experience is what they're offering in that ecosystem. Because sometimes I can learn, and actually, the majority of times I learn from staying at those properties and say, oh, that's pretty cool. How can I make that so that it fits within what we offer as a luxury boutique hotel and be able to amplify the guest experience? So that's me. I like, personally, right? It's all about what
Mhm.
you want.
Right.
I
You
like,
establish
yeah,
your non-negotiables basically.
correct, correct. I want 24-hour in-room dining. I want to make sure that when I arrive, there's a certain level of service because I'm so busy as it is always, and I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure you can resonate with this. We don't really have as much time to spend on menial thoughts and tasks. A lot of the
Mhm.
things need to be set up in advance for us because of how busy we are. We're moving from meeting to meeting pretty much every day. It's like 7 days a week. You're on calls and you're constantly busy. So, my expectations for a stay will be completely different than anyone's because it's
Mhm.
based on their psychographic. It's based on what they like. And if you're more so into just I need a bed and I want to go to sleep and it's quiet and I don't care what restaurant you have. I actually don't even care what your minibar offers. I don't drink it, right? Those so then there's a different hotel for that, and that's what I always tell everyone. Understand what the brands offer, what they're selling. They usually generally put that on their websites and their Instagrams. And if when you're reviewing that before you're staying, also if you're going on TripAdvisor, you're reviewing what other customers have said in the past about the establishment. That's going to
Mhm.
help you form your decision, right? So that's usually the way I look at it, and I'm hopeful that the majority of travelers look at it that way. But then there's other travelers like I don't really care, stay in a hotel. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. This is available. I'll book it, and they'll just go stay there.
So now my next question for you is, what exactly classifies a hotel or a property as a luxury property? I'd had a former guest before that worked in the hotel industry. Hi, baby. That's my cousin. Um, he was saying that it basically depends on like amenities, like what is offered, what
Right.
do you have that other places don't have? What are some
Right.
of the more luxury amenities, if you will? Because for those of us who can't necessarily afford, what is that? Oh, it was right here in my brain. I remember I was so impressed when my cousin stayed there one time and she came into the city. I think they stayed at like, I think it was like the Wald. I think they stayed at the Waldorf. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
bitch, I got money. Okay,
Completely different
this cute little
experience,
stay. This
right?
is incredible. We had a nice little time
The
walking
the
through.
world.
But
Oh, I think you're
okay,
breaking up a tad there. I heard
okay,
the
there we go.
Waldorf last. I heard the
Okay,
Waldorf last.
so I was saying, I remember a cousin of mine was she came into the city and she and her partner stayed at the Waldorf and I was just like, bitch, I know y'all had money. Okay, this is so cute. Loving visiting here. But I don't have those coins. So
I
what
love
what are
it.
the differences? What exactly constitutes luxury? Because I've had great experiences at, some hotels and I
Mhm.
will give it to the boutiques. The boutique girls have it. I've had my top two experiences were at the Goodwin Hotel in Philly.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, from walk in, the young ladies at the front desk, passed the vibe check. Everyone was so sweet, made it simple for me. And in Nashville, it I think it was like the Joseph, not far from like the Nissan Stadium.
Got it.
Those were the best hotel experiences that I've personally ever had on a I don't have money budget. So for those of us that are gonna get there one day, let me live in my dream world. What can we, anticipate for when we arrive at the status that we can be in luxury hotels all the time? What do those amenities look like?
Yeah. So the way it works, I guess, because this is a pretty long answer, so I'm going to try to condense it as much as possible. But the
Hmm.
way it works is each brand within their portfolio, they decide, the name of this hotel is going to be luxury. The name of this hotel is going to be limited service, luxury boutique, a budget hotel. They have all these different tiers, and then they build them out based on the understanding of what the FF&E, which is the furniture, fixture, and equipment, and the OS&E will look like, which is your operating supplies, when they're
Okay.
building out a hotel. So each tier has different budgets for the bid.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you get to
Reasonable.
the when you get to the
Like a
luxury
house.
hotel,
Copy. Okay.
yes, exactly, just like a house. So if you want to stay in a 20,000 square foot mansion, that's going to cost you. But if you're
Hmm.
just looking for a 700 square foot apartment, in let's say Bedford Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, that's a different
Hmm.
story, right? So with those different types of hotels, there's certain expectations for the service levels, the pay of the staff, the quality of everything that's going to be inside of the hotel, the restaurant partnerships, the nightlife partnerships, and everything changes based on what they identify that hotel brand as
Hmm.
within their portfolio. So that's generally how we decide which hotels will be luxury or which ones will be budget or limited service, etc. That's in a
So,
nutshell.
you mentioned the partnerships. What types of partnerships does your hotel have? It's Dream Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, Stream Hollywood.
What kind of partnerships?
We have a pretty impressive partnership Rolodex, and that ties into
Hmm.
all the relationships that we've built and cultivated over time in the industry. Of course, Tao Group, as everyone would know, they're the number one food and beverage operators in the world.
Okay.
Here at Dream Hollywood, they're our partner. So they operate our food and beverage outlets and put on some of the most amazing nightlife experiences. Like I'll tell you, I mean, it's on the news and it's public knowledge, but P. Diddy was Batman, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
For Halloween. Where did Batman decide to unveil that he's Batman? On our rooftop.
Oh, cool.
right?
Go
So
figure.
that's the
Plug.
kind of major plug. Look, if Diddy blesses your party, it's a go, right? And the Made by Sadiq guys throw that party on Wednesdays in partnership with Tower Group and ourselves, and it's just been a phenomenal hit. It's the hottest party in all of LA since we launched it in 2020, and I'm beyond grateful for the team for coming up with that idea on a Wednesday. It's an
Mhm.
old school R&B party on a Wednesday, middle of the
That
week.
was my next thing I'm gonna ask you. Do people dance at parties anymore? I was having this conversation last week with my coworkers, and we were talking about like the New York clubs that we went to back in our club days,
Yeah,
and we were like,
no one
"Where do
dances.
we go?" That's what I'm like. Some of us just want to
Yeah,
dance, like
yeah.
that. I would sign up for. Like, I just want to go freaking dance. I don't
I
want to
just want
watch
to
you
dance.
sitting and holding your hookah. I don't want to watch you watching me. Like, we both got drinks. So where are we going
Right.
from here? Did you not have? You don't have a budget? You're not trying to get on the
Yeah.
floor? No, there's no one. Every song has a little piece of choreography they're doing on TikTok and all that jazz. So
Yeah.
about to dance.
I
So
just
they
want
don't
to dance.
dance.
That's from a movie. What movie is that from? I just want to dance. Is that old school? I don't know. Feels
I
very
think
Will.
I feel like
What
that
was it?
was.
I just want
Oh,
to
I think it
dance.
might have been that. Shit. Now I gotta.
Is it Talladega Nights? I don't know.
I'm gonna
Pretty
have
sure
to
Will.
email you back on this one because
Yeah,
now it's not gonna leave me alone.
I'm pretty sure Will has something to do with that one. That sounds
Okay.
like Will Ferrell, 100%.
He's been in
Um,
enough that it could be from any of them.
it's definitely him. I know for sure. But I don't know which movie. I don't think it's Anchorman. Can't be Anchorman. I don't
I
know.
don't think
Whatever.
so.
We'll
It's
figure it
not
out.
giving
We'll
Ron
get it.
Burgundy. That's not a Ron Burgundy line.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
That's my brother's favorite
So,
freaking movie.
oh my, yeah, it's been on the top of my list for a long time. We actually used to in college. All the football players will be in either my dorm room or when I transitioned over to my football house. All the guys would be in there, and we would shut off all the sound. And we would all recite it word for word from the beginning to the end of the movie. And if
I'm
you
not
were
even
able to
mad.
do it, I'm not even bad. Milk was a bad choice.
And I'm gonna tell my brother business. Him and his friends used to just have a random suit day where they would all
Yeah,
just dress
let's
up
go
in
suit
suits
shopping.
on campus and they did the whole jump pose. It was adorable. Adorable.
Oh my
So
gosh! One of my favorite lines from that movie is when Brick goes to the other guys. He's like, "Where'd you get your suit from?" The toilet. And he goes, the toilet store.
they
I
were
love I love
the
Lamp. It's such a good movie.
I think we're
Anyway,
gonna have to run that back again this weekend. We're gonna have to put that
yeah,
on.
it's a good one. It's a classic.
So of
But
the amenities, I know one
mhm,
thing that the Dream property does is use a lot of technology.
yeah,
What would a guest like anticipate in terms of technology, right? Because there's an app for everything. And I know that for the things that I use often, I'm all on board. But I
yep,
hate having to download an app for something I don't foresee long term usage. Like
right there
going
with you.
to events, meetups. Like I was very disappointed that Essence Fest needed an app to be downloaded. Just run me my tickets. Ticketmaster's got
Yeah,
this on lock at this point. What type of AI or technology or electronic devices or what is your policy? What is the way that you guys are kind of bridging the gap between the property and the guest?
yeah. I think I should definitely add some more color to our partnerships as well because we have some great partners that'll be upset if I don't mention.
Okay,
And
please do.
then I'll jump back into tech with that as well too because it goes hand in hand. So we actually just launched Athletic Gains, which is a gym that's operated by Travell Gaines, who is considered one of the preeminent forces within luxury fitness. He
Okay.
works directly with a lot of your favorite NBA, NFL, MLB actors, actresses, you name it. That's who he works with. So what we did, we partnered with him to spin up the gym within our hotel. So we have a fully functioning gym with
Hmm.
parameters in place so it doesn't impact the guest experience. Like for example, there's a limited amount of personal training sessions that they can have in the gym to make sure that our
Okay.
hotel guests still have access to the amenities without any interruption. But you can pay $1,000 a month for unlimited personal training
Okay.
anytime you want at our hotel, and an additional $300 per month separately if you'd like to just be a member and come use the gym anytime you want, which gives you
Mhm.
access to every single one of the amenities that we have available. We have the best pool in all of Los Angeles on our rooftop, overlooking the Hollywood Hills and the Hollywood sign. Stunning views of Century City. I mean, the sunset, I'm looking at it right now. It's gorgeous. We have 6 cabanas on the rooftop as well. Highlight Grill is situated on that space. It's an American grill cuisine restaurant where we have 3 meal periods currently, 5 days a week, and then we enter into 4 meal periods, which of course would include brunch on the weekends. Best brunch, chicken and waffles, off the chain. So you definitely want to check that out. And then of course we have Tao Restaurant, which is the largest restaurant in all of Los Angeles. It's 20,000 plus square feet. And all your favorite
Wow.
parties have happened there. We have to be very careful with confidentiality, of course, in our guests, but all of this stuff's online. You can Google it, everyone, and you can see some of the fun things that we've had transpire here. And then we're now opening up a new club. I can't say the name yet, but it should be open at the
Okay.
end of the month. I'm not going to give out the concept,
Club temporarily.
but all we're going to say is that the framework team, they actually are going to be operating that space. And it's going to be a completely different take on the nightlife experience that we
Hmm.
already offer and already exists in our market, because we want to be able to create something for a different demographic that may want a different experience. Like you just mentioned earlier, does anyone dance anymore? And the answer is pretty much no, unless
Mm.
unless
They're
you
recording a
play
TikTok.
right, or you're playing some of this new EDM music that the Gen Z and Gen Alpha love so much, and that's a different
That's
type
what
of
the
dance.
one next is called, Gen Alpha.
Yeah, it's Gen Alpha. Yeah, I have a few of them running around my house. They're on another level, man.
God bless. God bless. The dog is enough. Wow.
They're on another level. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so we have that partnership, and then we will soon be able to share another edition to the hotel. Can't say the name yet either.
Okay.
But this will be one of the coolest recording studios that you're going to
Oh,
find
cool.
with
And it'll be
live
on the property, or is it
on
just
the
like a
property.
partnership?
It's
Oh.
on the property. Yep, and it is a
Hmm.
partnership. Another partnership with the world famous DJ known as DJ Ski. I'm just going to leave it there. That's all I can say.
Copy. You said DJ Ski?
Then that's all I can say. And then there
Okay.
will be, yeah, I did say DJ Ski. He's a legend, by the way. If you know Ski, Ski's the man. And it will also come with a pre and post production podcast element, because we launched a podcast incubator here in 2020, excuse me,
Hmm.
in which we have 2 podcasts currently shooting here on a regular continuous basis. One of
Oh,
which is
cool.
A Sweet Life with Rashid, Malik, and Chief,
Hmm.
and both legends in their respective industries. And if you look those guys up, it's a Sweet Life podcast within the
Hmm.
top 5% of podcasts globally, shot right here in our suites. That's the name. And then the other one is Be Do Become, which is by Leah Marvel. She is actually the former Miss Barbados, and she does a
Okay.
podcast that's all about health, wellness, and like the beautification of your soul and self and how you can inspire others. So we have different genres of podcasts that we're incubating here on property. And
Hmm.
now with the new partnership coming in, we can do pre and post production, and you can even shoot those podcasts right there in the studio and or anywhere throughout the hotel, and they will edit and they'll make sure that the podcast quality is
Hmm.
are. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one.
Fancy. I see. I see.
And then there's another partnership. I don't know if you know these names, but Damon Elliott and Dionne Warwick and Diane Warren, um, just legends. I don't even know
What?
how
It,
many
well,
Grammys they. I don't even know how many Grammys they have between them. It's got to be like a billion Grammys. They
so
probably
what
have
is
a
the
house.
Dionne Warwick doing with you guys? Like she's doing a podcast, or it's just
That
okay. So you're doing
you're
one of
gonna
those.
have
One
to
of those.
wait for
Okay.
that
It's
one.
kind of like Club.
This was the trailer, the teaser. But no, what they're doing is in the health and wellness space, is what I
Oh,
can
it's so
say.
cool.
And it is revolutionary and transformative. I went through one of the experiences while vetting the
Mm.
concept. We already have a
Hmm.
great relationship with them, great partnership. They were in Coachella with us when we did the pop up
Oh, sweet.
last
That's
Coachella
cool.
that just
What did
transpired.
that look like?
Oh my gosh, that's a
Like,
whole
what would a pop
separate
up for?
podcast.
What would a pop up for a hotel look like at like a music conference or like a music festival, if you will? Like,
D, you're asking some really good questions, and you're gonna get some stuff out of me. My team's gonna kill me on the back end, but it's totally worth it. All right, let me tell you. So this was a fun one, right? I recall a lot of my friends saying, don't go to Coachella. I've been invited so many times. I'm
hmm
like, I'm not doing that, man. I don't have time for that. It's just a bunch of young kids raging at concerts. No, I'm good. Like, please, let me do something else. And they go, no, Vaughn, you need to go. Like, if you're invited to
hmm
Coachella, just go experience it. So 2 years ago, I went. And what I ended up seeing was literally everyone that I would see at like the Super Bowl or F1
mm,
or the World Series or the NBA All Stars, all the marquee events, they're all at Coachella in shorts and a t shirt,
hmm.
just hanging out, networking, talking about what they want to do and what we can do together. And still having a good time while listening to a performance by their favorite artist. And then there's a bunch of ancillary events that happen just like the Super Bowl that are high impact events. So it completely changed my entire perception of Coachella. I was like, whoa, this is the coolest thing ever. Okay, now it's time
Interesting.
to audit. Now it's time to audit this experience. What's missing? Right? So I looked through all the lines of code at Coachella. And I was like, okay, that's missing, that's missing, that's missing. Okay, let's create. So what we did was we took our hotel and created a decentralized hotel, meaning everything that we do here, we took it and spread it across 7 acres on an old date farm that was a 5 minute walk away from Coachella. Then we partnered with some pretty gnarly guys, legends, the Jupe guys, right? You got to look up JUPE,
Okay.
the coolest dudes. They actually are ex SpaceX and Tesla engineers and employees. And they
Okay.
built this luxury space aged dwelling. See, that was a lot of practice because I was calling them tents for like a good three
Okay.
months, and one of them jumped in and was like, Vaughn, 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 please
Don't
don't say
disrespect me.
tents.
Yeah.
It's a luxury space age dwelling, Vaughn. This is not a tent. And
Okay. It's like this
I was
isn't a
like,
boat, it's a ship. Copy.
I was like that's a valid point because they actually have air conditioning units and a remote where you can control the heat and the air conditioning.
Hmm.
And their jupes are not tents. I mean, they come out of a box and they set them up within probably an hour each. And it's one of the coolest experiences sleeping under the stars in the jupe, man. It was wild. I was like, this is too cool. All the
See, now
ambient
that
noises.
at Coachella
Yeah.
would be like
Wow.
that's a
It was
mature experience. Like I
it
can't
was
because
a thing.
what you were thinking, all these kids raging, raving and raging, and the dirt, and I don't do crowds. Not for me. But when
Right.
you remind me that there are actual adults
Pick up.
in certain areas that
Right.
don't want to be in that type of experience. So it's just like, well, I'm
Right.
not going to not go to the concert. Let's make it more adults. I'm
Right.
liking this.
Oh man, it was a massive hit. Massive hit. It was so much of a success that I can't tell you what's coming next.
That's a genius idea, though. Like,
That was
make
thank you.
the stuff that was fun when you were a kid still fun as an adult. I think that is a really great freaking market to be in.
Thank
Like,
you. Thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you.
we
No,
added.
thank you for that.
No, it was fun, man. We'll be
There's
back.
hope.
We'll be back next year,
Okay.
but I can't tell y'all where, when, and
Uh
how.
huh.
But
Copy.
it's
Copy.
pretty major.
I like
Pretty
it.
major. It's actually the reason we even put on the proof of concept. And once we were able to see that the concept was proven, the right
Hmm.
phone calls happened and the right conversations are happening, and we'll be in the best location possibly in Coachella that you can be in to provide this elevated luxury experience. And what we also did too is we built in the programming because we have 7 days of programming here at Dream Hollywood, and that
Hmm.
was a request of mine since 2019. I was like, guys, when I arrived in 2019, I was like, we only program 2 days out of the week. No, 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 no. We need everyday program.
And
Every
what do you
day
mean
should
by
have,
programming? As in, there's like an
yeah,
itinerary for guests to kind of tap into, or just services or amenities that are
yeah,
separate from like your room service or the gym per se.
the excursions, right? The internal
Okay.
property excursions. So
Mm.
Jazz Nights one, right, made by Sadiq on Wednesday is another one. We did a Crazy Boots by Bryant pop up party on Thursday, which is another
Hmm.
great example. Live music in the lobby. We partnered with Kind Kind Music Academy,
Okay.
and the Kind Music Academy team actually put on this showcase in the lobby with some of their emerging talent. We had a stage, the whole shebang. I mean, we even had a
Nice.
Grammy. It's pretty cool. We had a Grammy Award winning band actually, excuse me, perform as well, which is White Sun.
Okay.
Yeah, the White Sun's on another level. I was in the front row for that portion of the showcase, and I was like, "What are you guys doing with this music? What frequency are you pumping into this? Like, we can't tell you that, Vaughn. It's amazing. Check out White Sun if
Proprietary
you're.
information.
There you go. There you go. I mean, look, it's working for them.
Yeah.
They just won another Grammy this year. And then so that's an example of another event or programming that we would have here on property. We also have health and wellness programming too. We just partnered, I can say this publicly, with Yada Yada Yoga as well.
Okay.
So we have Athletic Gains and Yada Yada Yoga who are responsible. I think there's a yoga. And yeah, there definitely is. There's a whole yoga session happening right now. Sunset Yoga,
Oh,
or happened
nice.
already at the hotel. Yeah, and there's Reiki healing. There's no limit to what we can do. We tend to try to see how we can push the envelope on experiences even outside of our doors to then add value to our experience that we have within the doors. And an example of that was working very closely with the Hollywood Partnership Framework and Golden Voice to put
Mhm.
on the concert that happened on Hollywood Boulevard with Chris Lake and Fisher, which had over 12,000 people in attendance,
Oh, wow.
which then immediately impacted all hotels, restaurants, and businesses, period, in the neighborhood. We
Yeah.
were all sold out. We were all sold out. We had LA
It's a
Fashion
win
Week
for
as well.
everybody. Yeah.
Right. We had LA Fashion Week as well. They reached out, wanted to partner with us to figure out ways that we can amplify their voice and messaging for
Hmm.
LA Fashion Week, because it always goes a little, under recognized, let's
Yeah.
just put it that way.
Yeah.
And
It's
they
not New York.
actually,
They do their best out there, you know.
oh,
Sorry,
we're
guys.
coming. Listen, I walked 3 New York City Fashion Week so back in my modeling days. My number one goal, sorry, New York, we're coming.
Okay.
Okay?
And this is
As,
from not a fashion girl at all, but I will say I do so deeply love seeing the girls dress up. And I mean girls across all demographics. Like all of the babies, I love seeing the expression that comes out in those outfits in Fashion Week. I'm not a fashion girl in what I would assume to be the traditional sense of fashion girls. I like the
mhm,
stories in an outfit. I like
yeah,
the expression that comes along with it and not necessarily the labels. Cause like for me, I feel as if I'm outside looking in, and it can seem as if a lot of people are just stuck on labels. Same thing when it comes to like where you're staying, the type of luggage that you carry, your
right,
airline carrier. Some people like to stick to a particular label. This is my girl. I am Chanel only. It is what it is. I will wear it regardless of what it looks like. Whereas I enjoy the story in it. I enjoy the, like you were telling me, the glasses, the gift whom they were from, and the lapel pin, and the story that the different items actually have. Go ahead, Thelma. There you go. There you go. Like I enjoy the story in
yeah.
things, and I do love seeing the expression that comes out around that time of the year. But what was that? What about spas? I haven't heard you mention a spa. I love a good massage. I That's one of the things that I try to tap into wherever I go. If time and just all the stars align, um, I cannot remember what the name of the place was. We did some incredible massages in Montreal. And the best massage I ever had was actually, can I say the best? I don't know. It's toss up between there and like Bali, because them $7 Bali massages, whew, hit like nothing else. Because they $7 for
I
one.
can't with
But
you.
them women, they get back, they get on the table with you and they getting in there. And I'm like, what's she
Oh my
doing?
god, that's
But
a deep
Bermuda,
tissue massage if I ever heard one.
yes, I didn't know my tissue went that deep, but she got in there. But the one of the best
Oh, I love it.
massages I ever got was in Bermuda, and I think it was because of like
Yeah.
it was in a cave. It was on the property's
Ooh.
cave systems, and so you walk down, and it's like you're walking into a little cave, and there's like this beautiful seating area, and the actual massage room is on like a floating bed in like a little floating room, and there's like a little dock that you walk out to, and it's dark, it's
Wow.
lit in just the right places, so it's like this whole experience. And then you get a really good massage, and then you get a good facial, but the facial was a waste of money because they can't do extractions, and they knew that beforehand, but then it was kind of like, I'm gonna try it anyway, and then in hindsight
Yeah.
it was just like I wasted this money. But the massage was good.
Yeah.
The massage was fantastic. So what about your spas? Like, do you guys have a spa there?
Yes. So
Okay,
here's how
I
I
was
can
hoping
say
so.
this. Here's how I can
Oh.
say this. We partnered with some gig economy brands to be able to deliver that luxury spa experience directly in
Hmm.
the rooms. That's what we did. We're going to continue to
I
do
like that.
that. We're going to continue to do that. But there's a new take on a spa that's coming.
You don't say. Okay.
New take on a
And
spa.
that's all you can
Do
say,
me
huh?
do me a favor. Send me an email, and I
Okay.
want you to be one of the first to experience it on us when we
Say
launch.
less.
It's
Look,
I'm
man.
not kidding. It's going to change your life.
Well,
Um,
I'll take your word for it.
it's that was one of the most transformative experiences I've ever had without anyone having to physically give me a massage. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's our take
Now
on
I'm
the spa.
curious. I'm
Coming
curious.
soon. Coming soon. That's our
Hmm.
take on spa. And then to jump back into your question about AI and technology,
Mm-hmm.
we actually were one of the first to refine and deploy a true robotics program. So we
Oh,
actually, yeah, in 2020, it was like impossible to find people in our industry at that time. It was a very challenging season for a lot of hotels, and we had to make a
yeah.
decision. How do we still deliver um, amazing service and without people? It was wild. So what we did was we launched two robots that deliver to the guest room. And what we wanted to do there too is ensure that, because I started as a bellman, right, manager and trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's still important that we respect those trades and we respect and understand that team members still have tipped opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
would love to still deliver that toothbrush if they want to, but that's
Right.
up to our team. They make that decision. And the reason being is because of my experience as a bell man slash bell person, um, where I would be talking to a guest in the lobby, and then my hot sauce device, which is on an iPod, would go off on my hip saying that you have to go and deliver a washcloth or a toothbrush or a mouthwash or whatever
Okay.
the case may be to a guest. But I'm speaking to D right now about the best restaurants to go to tonight, in which I'm going to set up your reservations and get you a car and
Right.
really
Right.
over deliver on that experience. But now I can't really finish this process because my hip just vibrated, and I have a timer on it that says you have to get to that guest room and deliver it
Got
within
it.
a certain time period to align to certain standards in the industry that would identify you as a luxury boutique hotel. So I'd have to
Mm-hmm.
find a creative way to cut that conversation short, and I always felt as though that was rude. I never liked it.
Yeah.
It was very rude because, and then I also realized that if I did have the time to continue to deliver on the expectations of the guests, then here comes $100 tip or
Mm-hmm.
20, 40, 50. It's a high value tip. If I go and I deliver that toothbrush, I'm not getting tipped. I mean, we did an analysis. People
Yeah.
don't tip for toothbrushes, right? Because they're or a washcloth or shampoo conditioner. They're literally in their robe trying to get into the shower or go brush their
Right.
teeth and run to a meeting. So what we did was we were able to classify the nominal mundane tasks that would
Mhm.
usually pull our team away from those high tip, high guest engagement opportunities, and then give them the ability to make the decision if they're okay with the robots delivering that, or if they would like to deliver it
Oh, I
themselves.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So what it actually did was it freed the team up to be great and connect with guests and really have an organic connection and over deliver on their expectations. And then the robots actually, they come right to the front desk. The front desk loads them. They then get into the elevator. They call on their own, and then they call their floor on their own. They get off on the floor. They roll their little R2D2 selves.
R2D2, I think.
R2D2, yeah. They roll their little R2D2 selves right on over to the door. They ring the doorbell and then they text the guest. The guest opens the door. They pop their lid open. The guest takes the item out. Then they ask the guest, "Are you having a good time?" 1 to 5 stars. They say whatever they're feeling. That's communicated to the front office. If it's a 1, 2, or 3 star, we're going to contact you because it's time
Okay.
for some human intervention to have a conversation to see.
Mhm.
Because that's called mid-state communication in our business, which is something that is generally very rare to come across unless you have team members that are aggressively actively trying to find out how the guest stay is going
Right.
when they're right walking through the property. So then, and if you get a 1, 2, or 3 star, we will reach out to you. But if it's a 4 or 5 star, you're having a great time. Unless you
Mhm.
added some notes in there that were a little concerning, we would note that you're having a great time and hope that we can continue to deliver on exceptional service. Then the robot comes back downstairs, calls the elevator for itself, as it always does, and then goes and plugs itself back into its charging port. And it works 24/7. So it really allows our team the ability to be free and connect with
Yeah.
guests and actually deliver the levels of service that they were hoping to deliver.
It's like the flexibility of maintaining humanity. You know what I mean? Like you're able to your point, it's like not everything deserves like not deserves because everything you can assume like there's an argument to be made that everything deserves some type of a personal touch, but I would much rather someone looking for extra ketchup get the robot as
Right.
opposed to, I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, hey, I'm checking out, but I just want to leave my bags here. I'll be back at whatever time. Are you going to be the person that I'm going to see, or is there going to be someone else? Because okay, let me ask you, you're probably a great person to ask
Go
this.
for it.
Tipping in terms of like valet, for example, do you tip before or do you tip after, or do you just bowler status and just tip both ends?
Yeah. So, me personally, I
Hmm.
tip all the way through. I tip all the way through.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I started as a bell person, right? And at the time, when I was at the Gansevoort, if you were at the door, you'd be classified as a door person. So you're
Hmm.
going to be the ones opening and closing the door for everyone coming in. But then we had a dual duty of valet, so we used to valet the parks. So I would serve as
Okay.
valet and door person, right?
Okay.
And and for me personally, that is a separate job that someone's doing. That's a valet attendant. They deserve a tip for exceptional service. I'm one
Hmm.
of those that believe that a tip means to ensure promptness, right? The origin of a tip. That's the etymology of a tip. It's not something that should just be given arbitrarily, right? That's never the way it
Hmm.
was created. So in my mind, I was always looking to deliver an exceptional experience, not with a tip being the final outcome, because guests can feel that. They can feel when it's not an organic connection and you actually really care about the fact that they're staying here and you want to make sure they have a good time in your house, right? They can feel that.
Right.
Versus when you're like, I'm just going to do a great job because I need $100 tip right now. You're going to give me this $100 tip or
You
what?
can. You could read the room. If you're someone that
You,
reads the room, you
yeah.
absolutely pick up on those
Oh
things.
yeah. Yeah. You feel that. You feel that in a heartbeat. But yeah. So yeah, I generally tip everyone on the way in, on the way out. Yeah.
Bowling. I
No, it's
really
not
do
like that.
feel so bad. Like when it like also confession, I'm generally late for
Hmm.
certain events. So it's like the okay, you got the keys. Okay, do you have anything left in the car? We got to keep it moving.
Yeah,
this is probably something that's going to start. So it's like I always get like 15 steps away, and it's like, ooh, do we even have cash? Do we have cash to tip the bartenders? Did we stop? Is there an ATM here? And so all this is happening while I'm trying to find the elevator, and then I end up feeling so bad for going to places that I didn't even know if we were going to valet. I'm not going to look for parking. You don't have a parking
yeah.
lot, so then that decision got made for us there. But where can the people find you? Where can the people find how to book your establishment? Are you also, since we're on the how to find them, like quick question in terms of like hotels.com, Priceline and all those kind of jazzes, do all properties kind of make themselves available to those types of platforms, or is that one of those things that certain places just don't do that?
Yeah, so that's actually a major discussion point right now in the industry. Those are online travel agencies, and we do
Mm-hmm.
utilize OTAs, as we call
Okay.
them. We do utilize them, but I would encourage all of your listeners to go directly to our website,
Mm-hmm.
www.dreamhollywood.com. We have incredible deals there. And also our Instagram at Dream Hollywood, where be a direct link right to our website so that you can book your reservation there too. But yeah, that conversation is a big conversation in the industry, and not all properties utilize OTAs. There's some
Right.
that do not use them at all, and there's others that have a hybrid strategy when using them, a certain percentage of their business mix, and there's others that are like, we're fully OTAs, let's go, right? And
Right.
there's a lot to the economics of OTAs that could be encouraging or can, swayed you from wanting to be a partner. But we're partners. We love those guys. Keep them coming.
Yeah. I tend to make my decision based on how important this trip is or how I feel I'll be in the space for things to go wrong. I love a
Yeah,
good deal. I love that, Expedia is going to give me those points. And when I will say them points actually turn into dollars. So I do appreciate that about Expedia. However, there are certain situations where I kind of feel like I need to know that this actually exists. I
right.
need to make sure that there are no mistakes. There's no room for interpretation because, again, one of the things that I love to remind people is that travel is so much more than vacation. Sometimes people are traveling for things that are just way more important than just mm, rolling that back because needing a break is important also. But sometimes it's not just, a week off from work and a vacation. Sometimes it's like, no, I'm here because this is the closest hotel to X hospital that
Right.
my, partner or family member unfortunately needs to have a procedure or something done. Or I'm here because I'm here for a funeral. And you know what? I don't have the patience for, you know, anything to have any other hurdles, or I need to know that the room I'm booking is the room I'm getting because I've got, my grandma with me who has, accessibility need. Like there's certain things that I keep in mind when I am booking. And if I know I don't have the capacity for things to go wrong and this needs to get done, I am more inclined to go directly to the hotel. And I always look to see what the price differential is. Like if I'm going to, I've oddly enough gotten a better price calling a hotel directly once as opposed to actually looking it up on like Priceline or something like that. So y'all be surprised if you call them and ask them, hey, do you have a AAA discount or do you have a, law enforcement discount, veteran discount, whatever your discount category classification you could think of,
Yeah.
ask them. A lot of times
That's
Expedia isn't going to give you that.
that's a travel cheat sheet. That's a code. Left, right, up, down,
Always has.
triangle, L2. That's a code,
Yeah.
right?
This is my code.
Yep.
I don't know how to play. I'm just getting into video games and I got to the point of Zelda where it's like kind of scary. So I had to take a break. I just got to
I can't.
Hyrule, whatever it is called. And the monsters are monstering. They're beating
Yeah.
my ass. So I needed a break. So
Zelda's a
fun.
wild time. It's a wild
Oh my
time, I'm
God. It
telling
was
you right
fun
now.
until it wasn't. It was fun until it
Hmm.
wasn't.
One of the coolest
Vaughn,
soundtracks, too, by the way.
it's so weird because everywhere I hear like people's computers queuing up or at work, it's just like, that's a Zelda sound. I don't know if
Hmm.
that was intentional. And then it's like, I haven't played in a while. Should I get back into it? Nope, we're not there yet. I still need I gotta,
Let's go.
my heart is not there yet because I am learning to be more of a risk taker through playing video games. And it can sound as crazy as anybody wants to feel about it, but it's my own personal little hurdle to
Yeah,
accomplish. I was playing the game and I realized I was terrified to do something stupid. I'm like, it's a fucking video game. He's not real. If he dies, he
I
fucking
know.
dies. You've died a million times before. He's going to come back. You can
Yeah,
take risks here. So it
those
doesn't have
are
to be as scary. So that's my little world where I take risks and I try not to be scared, but I'm scared now. So back to you. Where you said at Dream Hollywood.
at Dream Hollywood is our Instagram handle, and then
Mm-hmm.
www.dreamhollywood.com. I just dated myself by putting the www in front of it, but
Totes cool. We want adults in
uh,
charge. We want
that's
the
right.
adults in charge. That's
That's
absolutely
right.
the reminder that I like to tell people.
I love it.
Vaughn,
And then
thank you so much. Go ahead.
no, oh, I was going to say you can also find my Instagram handle is at V T
Mm-hmm.
O T H E 2ND Power, which is V to the second power.
Oh,
I
cool.
often post about what we're doing at the hotel and all the fun experiences that we have.
Thank you so much for joining me, Vaughn. I
My
look
pleasure.
forward to
This was
you
fun.
guys um, getting back to me and letting me know how your
Oh
luxury
yeah,
experiences have been. And hopefully, we can connect good folks in the luxury world and all be luxurious. And now, who was that? Was it? It wasn't for something expensive. Was that
you want to
the
know mine?
song "Luxurious"? What is that song?
So there's a famous. I don't know the name of that song, but I'll give you our motto. There's
Go
a
for it.
famous designer, African American gentleman. Won't say his name. We don't do that here. We don't name drop.
Okay.
But he has a saying, and he says, "It's luxury or nothing."
It's luxury or nothing.
Ooh.
We'll Google who that is. It's
Go to your if you
luxury.
go to your iPhone, go to that feature where you can add a GIF, and just type in luxury or nothing. And then
Okay.
ask my team how many times I've said that GIF. They
It's
send it
it might
back to
as
me
well
now.
just be in your email signature to them. Like I
Yeah,
guess an in-house
it's
signature.
luxury or nothing.
Boy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. This was a lot
Um,
of fun.
I hope you have a fruitful, fulfilling, and peaceful and exciting career in hospitality. And
Thank you.
thank you for joining me so much and giving us this little peek into what's behind the curtain. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and so that y'all have a better idea of what's actually happening and the thought that goes into your hotel stay. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.